All right, this is lesson 2. Again, before moving on from one lesson to the other, you want to make sure you've put the lesson prior to memory. So you're not going to understand what's in lesson 2 unless you fully understand what we taught in lesson 1 and vice versa. Just a recap, in lesson 1 we looked at the formula for a major scale. So if we start here on G, it'd be whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. We looked at those as intervals: the 1, the major second, the major third, the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, and major 7, and then the octave. We looked at if you flatten a major second, that note becomes a minor second. If we flatten a major third, it becomes a minor third. If we raise a perfect fourth, it becomes an augmented fourth. If we flatten the fifth, it becomes a diminished fifth. If we flatten a major 7, it becomes a minor 7, or 6, sorry. A major 6 becomes a minor 6. And then a major 7 becomes a minor 7. And we looked at all the intervals in music is a 1, minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, diminished fifth, perfect fifth, minor 6, major 6, minor 7, major 7, and then a 1. So all the major intervals, the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7, if they drop down a half step, then that's called a minor interval. So minor second, minor third, minor 6, minor 7. We looked at the notes of a major chord would be the 1, the major 3, and the 5. And that the major third is what makes that a major chord. 1, major 3, and perfect fifth. If we play those all together, you get a chord. All right, so today we're going to look a little bit more in depth in the major scale. We're going to talk about theory as it pertains to other instruments. So we think about music, and again, there's only 7 notes in music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 notes in a scale, 7 notes in music. If you look at the guitar, again, open E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then it repeats. Same thing, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And people are like, why do they use certain notes? Well, you think 7 notes in music. If we go to the alphabet, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's your 7 notes in music. A through G. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That's all we need. Now, you'll have sharps and flats in there also to give you those 12 notes total that are in music, but that's why we use A through G, and they just repeat. We talked about the formula. No matter where you start it, you can figure out the notes in that key. So if we start on G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E. We have to raise the F to F sharp to get that whole step, and then G. So the notes in the key of G are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. So the key of G has an F sharp. If we start on F, all right, and F, we're going to have a flat because it's going to go F, whole step to G, whole step to A. The next note is here, half step up from A. We can't say A sharp because we've already used A. And so in music, you can't use a letter more than once, and we have to use every letter once. So F, G, A, we have to come to the B next and lower it a half step, which makes it a B flat. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, right? And then to F, the 1. So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E are the notes in the key of F. So if you use the formula and you start on every note on this guitar or any other instrument, and you figure out all the notes in the major key, you will realize that there is only one key that has all natural notes and no sharps or flats, and that is the key of C. So if we start here on C, A, B, C, we'd go C, D, E, half step to F, G, A, and B. and then back to 1. So C major is the perfect major key. It doesn't have any sharps or flats. So that's what the keyboard is based on, and I don't have it turned on, but we can use the keys to show you. So the first note on the keyboard is C. And if we go up, the white keys are all your natural notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then it starts your octave, C again, same note as here. So this is your 7 notes in the key of C major, and it just octave here, octave here, octave here. So all of these notes are not different notes, they're just octaves of the first 7. So that's your 7 notes in the C major scale. The black keys are sharps and flats. So those are the notes between. So C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E. Between E and F, there is no black key because there is no note between E and F. E and F are a half step away. So on the guitar, we have open E on the 6th string, and then F. If you remember E, F, G, E, F are half step away, or 1 fret. If we do E and F here, E, F, E, F, E, F. All right, so those are a half step away. F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, and B. And between B and C, there is no black key because B and C are a half step away. So if we look at B and C, A, B, C, B and C are a half step away. So every note in music is a whole step away, except between B and C and E and F. So E, F, G, A, B, C is a half step from B, D, E, F. All right. So, but every note is a whole step or 2 frets away, except between E and F and B and C. So it's the same on the keyboard. C, C sharp D, D sharp E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C. And then if we want to play a major chord on the keyboard, we find the 1. We think of the guitar, whole step, that's your major 3rd here. Half step to the perfect 4th, whole step to the perfect 5th, 1, major 3, perfect 5th. There's your major C chord. If you want to play a C minor chord, we would drop the major 3rd down a half step to the black key, which is the minor 3rd. So it's a 1, minor 3, 5. That's your C minor chord, C major chord, C minor chord, C major. Again, the 3 is the only interval that distinguishes whether your chord is a major or minor. The 1 and 5 are always the same. All right, so knowing that, we want to get into learning how to play a major scale, which is also called the Ionian mode. Now, all these modes you're going to hear, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, and so forth, they're all derived from the Greeks, or the areas around the Aegean Sea when the Greeks ruled the world. So don't let that freak you out. There are 7 scales or modes based on each note of the 7 notes of a key. All right, and that's what they are, but they have different names. So the major scale's mode name is Ionian. So when you hear Ionian mode, same thing as the major scale. Again, the major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. It's a 1, a major 2, a major 3, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6, and major 7 interval. We can play it on 1 string. All right, or we can play it across the strings, which is a lot easier. So if you're playing a solo and you start the 1 and you want to go to the 4th note, you don't want to have to move your whole hand up, right? 5 frets. You want to play the 1 and 4 here. It's right above the 1 on the next string. So we want to learn to play all these scales or modes in a 4 fret area, 4 or 5 fret area, and we'll see how they all connect together so you can play all over the neck. And when you learn these modes or scales, you're going to learn them in a pattern. All right, so if we want to play the major scale in this 4 fret area here, or wherever you want to play it, you start with the 2nd finger on your fretting hand. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to play 2, 4 on the 6th string. So let's start here on G. 2, 4. Second finger, fourth finger. Don't worry about G, A, or 1 in major second. You're just thinking pattern, 2, 4. On the next string, you're going to do a 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. On the next string, fourth string, you're going to do a 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. On the third string, same thing, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. So all together, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And then the next string, the second string, 2, 4 again, 2, 4, and then end with a 1, 2. And then that's your 2 octaves of your major scale. So the first 7 notes, that's your 7 notes of the major scale. And then starting here on the octave, you're going to play the same 7 notes. And then, so you're playing 2 octaves of the major scale in this pattern. So the pattern again is 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. So you want to be able to play that and put it to memory. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. You know, you can practice that on your arm. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. You don't even need a guitar to practice that pattern. So if you want to really look at it here, let's see if this will work with this camera. If we draw the 6 strings here, put the frets, and it looks like this marker is drying out on me. You start with a 2, and then a 4, and then a 1, 2, and a 4. Next string is a 1, 3, and a 4, a 1, 3, and a 4, a 2, 4, and a 1 and a 2. And that's your formula. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. So if you play that pattern, anywhere you start on the neck is a major scale. So if we start on the 3rd fret G, that's your G major scale in 2 octaves. We started on the 5th fret A, it's an A major scale. Started here on the B, B major scale. And so forth. So wherever you started, that is the name of that major scale. So the key with the pattern is to learn it up and back down. So it's 2, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. So if we play it up and back down, that's what you want to eventually get to. It's going to take you a while. Once you get to where you can play the pattern up and back down, you're going to practice moving this pattern up and down the neck, playing at every position. So two, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. You're just going to play it up and down the neck. Repetition, repetition, repetition is the only way you're going to be able to play this stuff and play it fast and put it to memory. All right, and it really is the minutes on the instrument. Let's say it takes you 100 hours to master a certain skill, like to master the major scale. If you play an hour a day, it's going to take you 100 days to get there. If you play 5 hours a day, it'll take you only 20 days to get there. So it really is, the more time you practice and put to this stuff, the quicker you're going to get to where you want to be. All right, so that's the major scale. You have the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. The 1, the major 2, the major 3, the perfect 4th, the perfect 5th, the major 6th, the major 7 are the intervals. If we look at it in that pattern, it's the 1, the major 2, the major 3, the perfect 4th right above the 1, the perfect 5th, the major 6, and the major 7. And then we go the octave 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and so forth. So you may have seen chords that'll say like major add 9 or major 9 or major 11 or major 13. It's just putting those first 7 notes, octaves of those of the 2, the 4, and the 6 into the chord. But the major chord is the 1, the 3, and the 5. If it's here, it's the 1, 3, and the 5. It's called your major triad. All right, again, if you play all 3 of those notes, one after the other, 1, 3, 5, that's called a major arpeggio. If you play them all at once, it's called a major chord. So if you play the 1, 3, and 5 open at the same time, that's called a chord. You play them one at a time, it's called an arpeggio. That's the only difference. All right, so that's your major scale and your major pattern, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2. You want to repeat that pattern up and down the neck. The next thing we're going to look at is the open major chords. So on the guitar, there are 5 open major chords, and it's an open major chord. It's called open because it has open strings within the chord. So there's no pushing any frets down on a certain string. It's open. All right, there's no fretted note. So let's start with the C major chord. And to start with the C, E, F, G, A, B, C. The lowest note of this chord will be on the 5th string C. You're going to play it with the 3rd finger. Right behind it on the 4th string 2nd fret, you're going to play your 2nd finger. You're going to play that 2nd fret, which is the major 3rd, which is E. Then you're going to play the 3rd string open. All right, so it's open, and that's your 5th. So that's your 1, 3, 5. It's your C major chord. Now the extra notes, the 1st finger is going to play the 1st fret on the 2nd string. That's a C. That's an octave of the 1st C, so same note. And then you're going to play the 1st string open. And that E is just an octave of the 3rd, which is also E here. So the intervals in this chord are 1, major 3, 5, 1, major 3. So again, major chord is a 1, major 3, 5. But on the guitar, we have 6 strings, so you're going to play different octaves of a 1, 3, 5 to play, more than just 3 strings. This chord is also a 5 note chord, and you'll start strumming on the 5th string down. You won't play the 6th string because it's not in the chord. To help mute that string, you can use the fat of your finger there. See, I have it touching it. It mutes it. You can also mute with your palm, or just try not to mute the whole chord. You can also bring your thumb up and touch that E string to help mute it. So it's a 5-string chord with the lowest note on the C. Now that is why this is called a C major chord, because the lowest note in the chord is the C here on the 5th string 3rd fret. All right, that's the C chord. So you want to practice putting down those fingers all at once. In the beginning, you're going to have to, 3, 2, 1. If you hear this, if you hear a mute, it's because your fingers, the fat of your finger is touching the string below it. So if you hear this, you got to raise that finger up to get it off the other string. So you need to play each note, and where you can hear them all 6 clearly or all 5 clearly, then you've got that chord where it should be. All right, we're going to move on to the A open major chord, and it starts on this open 5th string A. That's the lowest note, and that's why it's called an A chord. And then you're going to play the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, the 2nd fret. You're going to play all those with those 3 fingers within the 2nd fret here. And then the open 1st string is open, this E. All right, you can play it with the first 3 fingers, the 1, 2, and 3, or the 2, 3, and 4, whichever is more comfortable for you. Make sure you let this 1st string ring out. If you don't hear it, then you got to make sure you raise this finger up to make sure that string rings. The intervals in this chord are a 1, open A, the 5 here, which is the E, the A here on the 3rd string, which is an octave of the 1, which is on the open 5th string, The major third is here. The C sharp is the major third of A. And then the E is the perfect fifth. So you have 1, 5, 1, major third, 5. So the only note that makes this a major third is the C sharp here, which is the major third of A. So it's open, 2, 2, 2, open. That's an open A major chord. And again, it's called open because it has open notes. It has the open fifth string and the open first string are the open notes. The C chord, you have an open first string and third string. So let's look at the G major chord. We're going to start it. It starts on the G here, E, F, G. And it's called a G chord because the lowest note is on the G. So the third of G, 1, 2, 3, is here, is the B on the fifth string. You're going to play the second finger G, first finger E. The next three strings are open. So you have open on the fourth string, open on the third, open on the second, and then you're going to play the third fret on the first string. So it's 3, 2, open, 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 3. And this is a 6-note, 6-string chord. You can strum all 6. The theory behind it is a 1, major third, open is the fifth. The 1 here, open, the G is just an octave of the G here. The second string, the B, is just an octave of the major third, which is the B here. And then the G is just 2 octaves from the lower G. So it's a 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, and 1. All right, G major. Now you can play it with the pinky. Up here playing the high G, you can play the ring and middle, and then the pinky. However you want to do it, it's whatever you prefer. Next will be the E major. It's another 6-string chord. You're going to play all 6 strings. Starts with the open E on the 6th string, the second fret with the middle finger on the B on the 5th string. Right behind it, the second fret with the ring finger on the E, which is the octave of the lower E. The first finger is going to play the first fret on the 3rd string, which is G sharp, which is the major third of E. And then the second and first string are open. So it's open, 2, 2, 1, open, open. All 6 strings. Again, the open strings are the 6, the 2, and the 1. The intervals are 1, perfect fifth, octave of 1, the major third, the perfect fifth, and then the 1 again. And the last open major is the D. All right, it is based on the 4th string root, that is D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So this is a 4-string chord. You're only going to play the 4 strings. You're not going to play the 5th or the 6th string. The lowest note in this chord is the open D. And on this one, the first finger is going to play the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. The second finger, your middle finger, is going to play the 2nd fret on the 1st string. And the ring will go between those on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. So it's open, 2, 3, 2. Going to play those 4 strings. All right, the intervals are open, which is the 1, the perfect fifth. This is the 1 again. This is another D. This is an octave. And then the F sharp is the major third from D. So it's a 1, perfect fifth, octave, which is the 1, and major third. So this F sharp is the note that makes it a major chord. Again, it's called an open chord because it has the open D on the 4th string. So let's look at all these. We have the C, we have the A, we have the G, we have the E, and we have the D. Once you learn these chords and how to make them, your biggest problem now is switching those quickly. And so you will practice switching them. I'll usually will start with C and go from C to each of those chords. So I go from C to A, C to A, C to A. Now in the beginning you're going to be going, okay, that, there, and there, and then go back to C, there, there, and there. But eventually you want to get to where you can drop those fingers in one movement. Think about where they're going and then put them down. Then you want to start with C and go to the G next. All right, where are my fingers going? Back to C. Where are they going? Back to G. And eventually get where you can place those in one movement. Go to C and then E. Again, think about where your fingers are going. And eventually you'll be able to get to where you can play those very quickly. And C to D. All right, and then you'll start with A and do the same. Go A to G, A to E, A to C, A to D, and vice versa. Because when you're playing a song, you don't have time to go. Right? You have to be able to place those chords quickly. And the only way to do that is practice doing so. All right, so that's your second lesson. Again, on this one, we looked a little bit more onto the major scale and how it pertained to a keyboard. We looked at the pattern for a major scale or Ionian mode, 2-4-1, 2-4-1, 3-4-1, 3-4, 2-4-1, 2. You want to practice that all up and down the neck. We looked at the 5 open major chords, C, A, G, E, and D, and about practice them switching those chords. And the next lesson we will get into exercises that will make you quicker and more accurate, tying your left and your right picking hand together. We will look at playing all 5 positions of every chord. All right, which is called the cage system. And we'll move on to our next mode, which is called Dorian.